2021 was a massive year for the Chinese box office. In a year recovering from the pandemic outbreak, Chinese cinemas were open for most of 2021, and some of the biggest hits were released that year. In fact, the box office was so lucrative, 3 movies from 2021 entered the Chinese all-time top 10 highest grossing movies of all time list, including a brand new number 1. This list only includes Chinese movies. This means that Godzilla vs. Kong, which was 8, and F9 The Fast Saga, which was 5th, have been removed, with the titles in 11th and 12th promoted to the top 10. Let's check out the list. Released in late November, this mystery comedy drama movie was a surprising hit, featuring Yin Zheng, who starred alongside Shen Ten in the 2019 smash hit Pegasus. This movie is about a group of filmmakers who gather on a dark and windy night to prepare for the shooting of a new film based on a sensational murder case. Unbeknownst to them though, they're actually at the real crime scene and the real murderer lurks among them. We haven't seen this film, so we can't judge it, but Chinese online user scores have it at a very respectable 7.5 out of 380,000 reviews. One of 3 Chinese New Year releases on this list, this was a very exciting action sci-fi movie about a man who takes a job from a mysterious woman to hunt down and kill an author whose parallel world is affecting her boss. His reward for killing the writer? To be reunited with his missing daughter. This was quite a fun film and looked great on the big screen with lots of colourful special effects and exciting action. Starring Lei Jia-yin, Yang Mi and Hu Wei-yu, this was director Yang Lu's big film of the year. He was one of the 3 directors responsible for last year's The Sacrifice. Chinese audiences were mixed over this one, with an average user score of 6.6 from 580,000 user reviews, but we liked it and it made our favourite movies of 2021 list. After getting renamed from Impasse to Cliffwalkers, this delayed movie was finally released on April 30. This movie follows 4 communist spies as they try to complete a mission that will expose Japanese war atrocities, while at the same time trying to sniff out who the traitor is. Zhang Yimou assembled an excellent cast including Zhang Yi, He Wei-yu, Lei Jia-yin, Ya Wenju, and the new Yimou it girl, Lu Haocan. Cinematography in this film is excellent, with the biting cold weather portrayed beautifully on the big screen. Chinese audiences love this movie, with a respectable 7.6 average user score from over 600,000 user reviews. This movie also made our favourite movies of 2021 list. Technically, this movie was released on the 30th of December 2020, where in 2 days it made a massive 236,680,000 RMB, which is not included in its total for 2021. This movie had incredible word of mouth, most likely due to who's in it. Heartthrob Jackson Yi, who lately has pretty much turned anything he's starred in into gold. This is another unseen movie, where the story is about 2 families struggling with the realities of a family member diagnosed with cancer. Also starring Lu Haocan from Cliffwalkers, the user score for this movie is 7.3 from over 665,000 user reviews. Released mid-year in July, The Chinese Doctors tells the supposed true story of the initial COVID outbreak in Wuhan. Like most Chinese movies based on real events, the validity of the story within it is questionable, making everyone look like heroes. Directed by Hong Kong's Andrew Lau and starring Zhang Hangyu, Yan Chen, Ya Wenju and Jackson Yi, I've got a feeling this movie was only as popular as it was because of Jackson. The movie itself is rather average, with a lot of unbelievable elements and frustratingly absent gaps in facts. User scores for this one is 6.9 from 207,000 user reviews. Not really a movie we would recommend unless you're curious about the supposed start of the outbreak in Wuhan. Released during the middle of a drought of good movies at the cinema back in late July, Raging Fire exploded onto screens in China and stayed in the number 1 spot for quite a few weeks. Starring Donnie Yen, Nicholas Tse, and directed by the late Benny Chan, this movie is a classic tale of revenge set against the backdrop of Hong Kong. It was exciting, full of action, but slightly let down by some rather overlong exposition in certain bits. We loved this film, and it made our favourite movies of 2021 list, and Chinese users agree with us. 7.2 is the average user score from 372,000 user reviews. Continuing on the annual tradition of releasing My Country movies for the 1st of October national holiday, This is the third movie in the series following My People, My Country from 2019 and the hilarious My People, My Homeland from 2020. And again, continuing the tradition, this movie features 4 short stories about Chinese families from 4 different directors such as Wu Jing, Zhang Ziyi, Shen Ten, and Zhang Shu. This movie actually received an international release, however, we haven't seen it yet, so can't pass judgment, but the other 2 movies prior were entertaining enough. Chinese audiences gave this a thumbs up, with an average score of 6.9 from 176,000 user reviews that skewed mostly to an older audience. Another movie that was delayed for a whole year. This is the second of 3 movies to make this list that were released during Chinese New Year. The Detective Chinatown series has always been popular, and this movie has now surpassed the more superior Part 2 in total box office gross by over 1 billion RMB. This movie sees the 2 detectives travel to Japan to tackle a case about the Yakuza, and features an excellent cast including Japanese actress Masami Nagasawa and Thailand's Tony Jaa. I didn't enjoy this film as much as Part 2, but I'm in the minority, with a respectable 6.9 user rating from 176,000 user reviews. For over 7 months, this was the top grossing movie worldwide. It currently holds the record as the highest grossing Chinese movie from a female director and sits at number 3 in the all-time top grossing Chinese movies list. The third of the Chinese New Year releases, Hi Mom, is an excellent movie about a woman who feels she's let her mother down, so she travels back in time to stop her from marrying her father and giving birth to her. However, her mother is not as simple as she seems and is always a few steps ahead. Director Jia Ling's directorial debut is an absolute stunner, and this is her love letter to her late mother. A real tearjerker of a film, this resonated with the Chinese audiences with a massive 7.8 average user score for this film from over 1.1 million user reviews, and is the highest scoring movie on this list. And with good reason. This is such a great film, it made our favourite movies of 2021 list. But as good as Hi Mum was, it couldn't hold back this film. Released for the Chinese national holiday in October, the battle at Lake Changjin stormed to the top quickly and stayed there for a long time. At one stage, this was the number 1 movie in the world until the new Spider-Man came out, and at 3 hours, it kept audiences glued to their seats. 3 directors were needed to steer this one, all 3 of them screen legends, including Choi Hark, Kage Chen, and Dante Lam, who are no strangers to blockbusters. This big and bombastic film tells the tale of 2 brothers and the 7th Company of the People's Volunteer Army as they fought back the Americans to hold the Chosun Reservoir in Korea. While the historical accuracy of the film can be disputed, the monster results can't. A super impressive 5.7 billion RMB at the Chinese box office puts this film as the number 1 all-time highest grossing Chinese film, supplanting Wu Jing's Wolf Warrior 2. Speaking of Wu Jing, himself and Jackson Yi, with 3 movies on this list, have the starring role in this one with a huge user score of 7.4 from 546,000 user reviews. We enjoyed this film and think you should watch it. In fact, which movies on this list have you seen? We hope you enjoyed this annual look at the highest grossing Chinese movies in cinema. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you next time.